Hello from wherever you are, and welcome to Let's Play Games. I'm John McFarland, Adult Services Librarian for Nashville Public Libraries, and I hope you'll join me in learning or rediscovering some of the more common and uncommon games out there. This time we're going to go into one of my favorites. This is a game of assembling sets and runs. So if you're familiar with color melding or number melding, this is going to be a fun one for you. It's in 10 phases, so it's appropriately named Phase 10. Let's get stuck in. So Phase 10 is one of those games that's fairly easy to pick up because it requires only specific goals and a little bit at a time. It's intended to be fairly fast-paced, but it can stretch a little longer depending on what you're aiming for. So let's go through what this card deck is. So there are 4 colors primarily: green, red, blue, yellow, and there is 2 of each number from 1 all the way through 12. There are also these wilds and skips. There's 4 skips here and I think 8 wilds. So what this game is you are trying to create some element of either sets or runs. So what's a set or what's a run? So a set is a grouping of the same number of cards. So for example, 3 ones, they can be of a particular color. You can have then on top of that 3 twos. So you are looking for a set of 3. As we get later on, there will be more increasingly complicated sets, but we're going to start here with 2 sets of 3s. What we're doing is I'll be giving cards out after shuffling, and then we will see the way in which you try and create these sets. Now, how do the wilds come into play? Your wilds can function as your substitute for any one of the phases you are trying to make. So let's say you have a pair of 1s. You can use a wild card in order to make that set. So you think, okay, that's fairly straightforward, right? Quickly you're going to find at least a pair, if not triplicate, and then you get a wild, and that's fine. Well, there's a second part to this. You have to then go out. Well, how do you go out? What you're going to do is, as other people begin to lay their sets out, completing their phases, you are going to do what's called hitting their set. So let's say that I've got a triplicate of 1s down here and another player has a 1. They get to lay down that 1 as a part of my set and then discard a card. So your goal is not only to complete the set, it is to then go out, because you do lose points for the cards that you have left in your hand at the end of the round. So what you're doing is trying to do this as quickly as possible to where not only you complete your own set, go out, but you prevent other people from completing their phase. That is part of the fun twist of this game, because as you move on to the next round, if you do not complete your phase, you're looking to complete that same phase again and cannot proceed. There is 1 phase per round. So you want to do it quickly, and you want to do it faster than anybody else. But the sets get more complex. So let's kind of look at this card here that is a nice ready reference. So the first one requires 6 cards in total, 2 sets of 3, so triplets of some sort. The second phase is 1 set of 3, not bad, but then a run of 4. A run is a number of cards in sequence. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. And it goes all the way to 12. It does not wrap around. So 9, 10, 11, 12 is the highest number you can have. It then moves on to 1 set of 4, 1 run of 4. one run of 7, one run of 8, one run of 9. See how it gets teensy bit more complex. But that is part of the game. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what about these skip cards? Well, it forces somebody to lose a turn. Simple as that. Not that many is a part of it. But what we're going to do, as always, is shuffle this up. And once I finish shuffling, I will then deal out 10 cards to each player. Now, just to show you shuffling, as I always do on this series, you want to cut the deck in two. You want to, if you're able, hold these cards and see how I can kind of bend these cards with my thumbs. You just want to slowly, see, sometimes you got to do it right. These cards are a bit more bendy than my standard playing cards that you see me use. So, they get stuck again. These are hard ones to shuffle. This is why I say that shuffling takes a lot of practice. You can also, as an example, just kind of move some of the cards before they become loose and just kind of organize them around. And then you're going to deal 10 cards to each player. So at least 6 of our cards are going to be used to complete the sets of our face. And the other 4 cards will either be on hitting or they will be for getting rid of. Now, give me a second. I'm gonna shuffle, I'm gonna deal, and let's see where we're at. 1 second. All right, I've dealt out, so let's go through what each person has. There's some intriguing hands to start off. So what I'm going to do for this, each round you're kind of looking for different goals. So let's see kind of what we have here. Pair of 2s, a pair of 7s, a pair of 10s, a pair of 11s. Since we need 2 sets of 3s, I'm looking for 2s, 7s, 10s, or 11s in order to be able to pick up. Now it has to be off of this person's discard, but sometimes it will happen that way. Now, here is where you actually, and this is just off of luck, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you have a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right off the get-go, which in phase 5 would be really helpful right off the deal, especially considering you then can shed all of these cards. However, in our first phase, it's not as helpful. We just have the pair of 10s. This is a wild, so in theory, we already have 1 set. We've got a 1, a 3, a 7, pair of 8s, 9, 10, pair of 12s, and a wild. So we're just looking for an 8 or a 12, depending on what we start getting. Kind of similar vibes going on here. A 1, a 3, a 5, an 8, a 9, 10, pair of 11s. So we have 1 theoretical set. We need a little bit of help. So we're going to start with the player to our left. And you want to do this as fast as possible. Actually, I need to turn this over because you can either take from the stock or you can take from the discard pile. They are going to take from the stock, which is a 12, and then they have to shed a card. You don't know what it is. You want to consider the points problem. Yes, there is scoring to this. 1 through 9 is worth 5 points. 10 through 12 is worth 10 points. A skip in your hand at the end is worth 15, and a wild in your hand is worth 25. You want a low score, because if you go out, that's 0 points and moving on to the next phase. You can have moving on to the next phase, but a couple of points. So they're going to discard this 12, which this person we know is absolutely going to pick up. And let's see, they'll get rid of the 10. Get rid of one of those high point cards just in case. They can either choose to pick up the 10 or take the luck of the draw. They're going to take the luck of the draw and get their first set. So on their turn, they could then place down one of their sets. So we're going to put this off to the side. Now, here's the thing. You do want to give away what you have. So you can lay your phase at the same time. I've seen people play it both ways where you can lay one phase at a time, but there's kind of no reason to do that until you're ready to start shedding and hitting off of other people, because anyone with theoretical 11s can now just discard it freely. There's no point. So they're going to get rid of, they'll also get rid of this 10. So this signals to everybody, and we're just going to keep this separate for now so I don't accidentally discard it. Now what they're really looking for is any of these as a pair to be able to pick up. They see this 10, they're actually going to pick it up because that's one of their sets. Let's go ahead and get rid of the 9. This person still kind of needs help, so they'll draw. 11, no help. They'll draw, skip, and in theory they can just go ahead and discard it right then. Skips this person, goes over to here. Another lovely little skip right there. So over to here, they'll draw a wild. So that's actually going to be, in theory, their second set right there, which they already technically had. But now we've got options. So they're going to work on trying to shed here as fast as possible. So on their turn, they are going to say that they have completed the phase. We have 12s and we have 8s. And then they're going to discard this 9 right here. Now is where things start to get a little interesting. This person can pick up their 9, and now they've made their phase. And this is where, again, I referred to that hitting. There's a 12, and there's an 8. So they've completed their phase, they get to hit, and they get to discard. Now is where we start looking into trying to figure out quickly, because 3 of the 8 wilds are now gone. Draws a skip, only so helpful. They can't play off of anything, so they have to draw, but they can add to their set. Not bad. And then they get to discard a card. Let's see here. They're going to draw 12. They get to hit off of that. 1. So this person actually already has 1 card left in their hand. This person can't take the 1, so they'll get the wild. They'll go ahead and play their sets. Can they run off of anything? No, not yet, but they can at least get rid of 4. Now this person's kind of hurting. They're going to get a wild. They're going to throw down the skip here. Draws another wild. And from there, gets a throw on there and discard. They are now out. So here's where we run into phases. So we had 3 players complete their phase, which means they get to move on to phase 2. Player 2 over here did not complete their phase, which means they're still on phase 1, and they are not going to like what's going on here. So player 4 is sitting at 0. Put a little check. Player 3 has, and like I said, 1 through 9 is worth 5 points, so it's not the face value, it's these point totals. So that is 10 points here. Let's go ahead and get player 1 settled over here, and I'm going to put a check mark next to their face. They've got 20 points. Now let's look at player 2, who's not having the best of days. So now we're gonna put these all up and we're gonna start counting. So these are worth 10s. Gonna just organize them sort of like this. 25 points for the wild. That's worth 5, so 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So fairly quick to count up the points here. So I'm going to put 80 and a little X. So now, when I shuffle up and deal again, show you one more hand where we look into the sets of 3 and the run of 4. So 1 second, let me reshuffle. I'll show you phase 2. All right, let's look at what we have going on here. So again, we are looking for the 1 set of 3 and 1 run of 4. So let's see what we have. Now we have ourselves a pretty good, oh wait, we literally already have a set in here and a run of 4. So I almost want to consider, it doesn't really actually matter what the point total here. All that matters is that you can get rid of either the 3s or the 4s. So what you're going to do is you're going to just hold up here and be able to play your phase. So there's a set of 3, not bad. And there's going to be your ability to hit. So 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. But remember, this player's still on phase 1. So they have everything they need, but it's helped by these wilds. That is kind of saving them. So they'll be able to move on to phase 2 right out of the get-go. Then it's a matter of hitting and reducing your point total. We've got a triplet here and another run of 4. So they're going to be able to go out fairly quickly. And then hopefully this person also has, well, they've got a triplet, but they don't have the run. They need a 9 for the 7, 8, 9, 10. So player 4 here in a bit of jeopardy. Now, let's start off like we did before. So, first off, you're gonna go ahead and declare phase here. So they've got this option right here. And they are going to get rid of this 12. So this leaves them, remember when I said they needed to make their phases? So they can make phase and get rid of 12. They only have 15 points in the hand. Not bad. So now, as mentioned previously, they can make phase. They're also going to get rid of this 12, and they will draw, so they still get that total in hand. And I forgot to draw for them, so they need the 6. They'll actually be able to just hit onto their own. The 12's not help. The 5 is kind of help if they could get a 6. They're gonna discard. They've already got the 4, so I think they're gonna just go ahead and get rid of one of these 1s. So from here we've got 7, 8, 9, 10. And they haven't seen too much discarded, so they'll make it the 4s. And they'll discard this 12. Let's see, and they can't do anything off of the 7s. They can't do anything off of the 6s. So now this player draws. They're gonna get a 6. And they'll get rid of this. They'll actually be able to hit off of the 4 and then discard the 3. This player draws a 4. They'll be able to hit off the 4 and drop off this. Is that the? Yeah, so the 7. And then this player will draw a 5. I'll keep getting rid of the 1s. So here is where you start getting into the more complexity of the game as you're trying to combine these phases. Realize how chaotic this has just gotten. With just feeding off of sets and runs. There's lots of options here. This round will probably also end fairly quickly because there's only so much you can do when people have already laid down phases. But that's what makes this a fast-paced game, where the point totals almost sometimes take longer than the rounds themselves, depending on what you're going for. This is some chaos, but it's some fun chaos. This is Phase 10. That's all the time we have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to join us next time as we cover another board or card game and I teach you about the lore, the strategy, the tactics, and how to play. See you next time.